Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We're powered by advanced trading. Well, we're Tuesday. We're getting close to that election. Matter of fact, I'm confident to say 1 week away. For those of you at home, that's 7 days. All right, 7 days to the election. All types of craziness going on. Have we had the big October surprise? Well, there's still time. We'll see. A lot of October surprises going on, just not only in the election, but in other places too. If you know, you know. All right, let's go to LaSalle Street, folks. Let's do it. Corn up 3, beans up 1, meal down 2, soybean oil up 63, Board of Trade wheat up 9, KC wheat up 10, spring wheat up 7. Cattle, which we have B Huck on the show. Oh, Brady, please tell us all, when can I short cattle and make money? Money back guarantee. Brady Huck, just kidding. Cattle, a little engine that could. Unchanged feeders are lower. Hogs up 120. That's interesting. Wall Street, that great street. Let's hit it. Dow Jones down 70. S&P's down 5. NASDAQ up 35. Extreme volatility in the stock market. And we'll tell you why in a little bit. 2s, 5s, 10s, 30s, all lower. Inflation popping its way up. And how do we know that? Let's look at gold. Gold up 20, silver up 40, copper up a little, crude oil up 38. Had a horrible day yesterday. Natural gas down 22. Had a horrible day yesterday, and it's continuing on that. Bitcoin, ring the bell. Bitcoin up 23.75, 72.67. The Bitcoin bulls have the horns out. Speaking of a bull, a guy who knows a little bit of cattle isn't completely full of, you know what, Mr. B Huck on the show. When can we sell cattle, Brady?
That's a dang good
Don't
question.
answer.
Every day,
Don't
though.
answer. You'll get in trouble.
Every
You'll
day,
get in trouble.
Tommy G.
Oh, you can gladly sell them and pay 50 ticks higher by the close. That's what I've noticed. All right. All right. What do we got on the show, Mr. Huck?
Well, yeah, Bitcoin's
You know what we didn't have today? 0 exports, but we had a heck of a run.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, 11 consecutive days of exports. That streak ends today, Tommy G. I was hoping I was watching the email, waiting for the blast to come at 8:00, and it didn't come. Never came, Tommy.
That's all right. It's a question I brought up with on RFD yesterday was, where would corn and beans be if we didn't have all these exports? We would truly be at horrible prices. But thank God we have a backstop. Crop insurance ends in
3 days, Tommy. We got
You know a
3
little
days.
about crop insurance, don't you, cowboy?
Yep. Harvest price discovery is happening right now, and that crop insurance harvest price discovery is going to wrap up. We're looking at a 417 average price on D's corn. That's what it's looking at right now. 1009 on beans. But bottom line with the crop insurance bit here is, unless you have a production problem, you're probably not going to get a payment. You might get some of those margin protection or some of those SCO type if you bought up some coverage, but those are going to settle out a ways from now. And as of Thursday, when that crop insurance comes off the books, you got no downside price protection as a producer. So if you're still long the grain, long the bushels, have it unsold, you might want to look at protecting the bottom side after that crop insurance price period ends.
It's interesting because last year, people were enamored with their higher levels of crop insurance, and they stored those bushels. And then, true to October 31st, they didn't have crop insurance. And I think we have done nothing but sell off since then. I could pull up a chart, but I could see it in my head. We sure as heck haven't taken out last fall's highs. We've went below $5. And we've never really stopped. And where are we right now? Corn's up 4 at 415. It feels great to say corn's up 4, but when you say it's at 415, you're like, oh, that's very humbling here. And even if you look out to the March 428 and May 436. So
yeah, Tommy, talking corn price there, we're kind of at the midpoint of that range. We had that 385 low in August and a 434, I think, was the high here over the last few months. And that 410 area is kind of just that midpoint of that range. I think this market's trying to figure out where it wants to go and what it wants to do.
Yeah, we have a couple of interesting things happening here. Let's pull up that stock market chart. We have a massive amount of earnings here coming out, and I like watching it. Yesterday, I was just looking at my phone. Ford, I get confused. They had good earnings, but this and that, but this, and then the stock traded down. So first glance yesterday, Monday, Ford earnings, everything's great, but And then the smart guys looking at numbers in the stock trade down. Big one today. Alphabet, of course, McDonald's. They've had. I mean, all these ones are big. There's not a company on here that's really little or not important. But when you look at these big, I think they still call them the big seven. When you look at your Alphabet, your Teslas blew it, blew it. I could see why Elon Musk can give away $1 million a day. I think he picked up a net worth of tens of billions of dollars in one day. So congrats to all those people who bet against Tesla. It's risky betting against that guy, Brady.
It is. It can be. Joe pointed out that Crocs has earnings today, which I'm long Crocs right now. So.
Yeah, I had some Crocs, but I about fell and slipped on my head, and they threw them out. So speaking of slipping on your head, there's 10-year yields at 4.30. That's got people shaking their head. I'm going to say something. I don't know what it means, so I'm going to say it, and shame for me for not doing the homework behind it. But Donald Trump's stock yesterday had extremely good day. And then when I looked at Donald Trump's stock just now before I came down, I noticed on CNBC it was up again real big. I don't know if that's indication of him doing better. I did sign up, full disclosure. I signed up for a betting site yesterday. It's called K-A, is it Kalshi? Yeah, Kalshi. And this says it's regulated by the CFTC. And so I signed up for the Kalshi app. I didn't place a bet on either side. And it was like opening a trading account, name, number. They knew my social security number. It was really weird. I entered a few things. They knew it. And then they want a picture of my driver's license. I'm not sure if I should put the picture in. But there are people out there placing wagers. I do have a concern when it comes to the election. They keep talking about these whales, and the founder of Kalshi says he is the only legal betting site in the United States. And I think the CFTC sued him, and he countersued and won. And there are people placing $50,000 bets, $1 million bets, 2 million. But my question or comment, and people can watch this video later, or you could add color to it, is the polls look like they're widening out, right? It's starting to look more like a Trump win. But I question that, because if the polls are skewed by these betting sites and someone could just place a $2 million wager, which in the world of $1 trillion finance is really nothing. So if you're like a Ken Griffin or a Mark Cuban or extremely wealthy people, there's tons of people on Wall Street and around the world who are worth billions. If this election is going to come down to a couple counties in Georgia and Pennsylvania, my question, long-winded, do any of these polls matter, Brady?
That's a good question, Tommy G. Good question. We all got one vote, right? We can have different bank accounts. Mark Cuban, those guys, they got a little different bank account than Brady Huck here, but we all got the same vote.
Your vote's just as powerful as Mark Cuban's.
Right.
You know who was confused when they voted yesterday? They said President Biden voted yesterday, and he was very confused and upset when the reality of looking down and his name wasn't on there.
That would be, interesting to be a sitting president and not being able to vote for yourself like that. But I also saw he presented his driver's license too, which was interesting.
There's a lot of interesting stuff. I tell you what, I wish I could just delete all apps. Speaking of deleting an app, I did take TikTok off my phone, and I don't miss it one bit. I mean, there was a lot of interesting stuff on there, but most of it was noise. And we have some brokers at Advanced Trading who do a great job of teaching people, there's fundamentals, there's cash crop, there's spreads, there's this, there's that. Stay away from the noise. And when I look at TikTok, the reason I deleted it was there was a friend in ag who I like dearly who's fighting with another friend in ag who I respect, and they don't even know each other, and they're fighting and bad-mouthing each other. I never seen so much nastiness against two men. I mean, it was like they were pulling hair on TikTok. And I said, you know what? If my job is to help a farmer manage risk, I'm not going to get better at it or be able to help them via TikTok. And I know some people use it to promote and sell, but it just felt very odd. Speaking of odd, they said the Joe Rogan video was censored. Did you see that?
I didn't. I missed that. No.
So Elon Musk said yesterday on X, search Joe Rogan, President Trump, and tell me if you could find the video. And I did it, and I couldn't find it. And it's there. You had to go directly to Joe Rogan's YouTube. So here we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
This whole video is probably going to be censored, and we'll probably only have 50 views tomorrow. But The truth is, it really was censored. I watched it. I searched it over and over on different browsers, different internets, on a phone, on a laptop, and I couldn't through Google find the Joe Rogan video. I had to go to Joe Rogan's YouTube channel, hit videos, hit latest, and then find it from there. So, interesting times in media.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, Cattle King, what do we got? We're a little lower
Well,
now.
steady cash here this week as anticipated. We had stronger cash last week, had the cattle on feed report on Friday, blasted a quick review out of that on Saturday. Cattle market handled things okay here. But I think we the biggest support in the cattle thing, Tommy, right now is 320 cutout. That's huge, but there's some major concerns about the longevity that consumers can pay these prices. Just talking to the guys down, Rick and Joe, before the show here about insurance, and these costs just keep coming in, and my homeowner's insurance I think went up 50% this year, and that's not easing up for the American consumer. This inflation I think it has kind of a longer tail than maybe anticipated. But 320 choice cutout, supporting the packer margin, supporting live cattle. Funds are long this cattle market. They're 90,000 long right now on live
Is that a
cattle.
lot? I mean, historically?
Yeah, there's only been 4 times over the last like 20 years where funds have been over 100,000 net long on cattle. So that's worth paying attention to. We've rallied up $1.90 on the fat cattle board, straight across the board though too. It's October's $1.90, and you go out, you can go out to April, it's $1.89, $1.90. There's no
It's Groundhog
premium
Day.
built in, right?
Let me ask you a question, Brady. Could there be a stampede if all those catalogs tried to get out at once?
I love how you said that, Tommy. That's great. It absolutely. We know when the door closes, they all run for the exits and rush for the exits at the same time, and that's what hurts the American rancher.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about crop insurance. I want to brag about you. Really proud of you. You're
How do
registered
you
in all
too,
types
Tom?
of stuff. You got more uh all degrees and this and that. You can sell real crop insurance now, right?
We can,
This is a
yes.
yes or no question. So
Yeah, I
we'll
got that
say
license.
not
Yeah.
quite yet then, huh?
Yeah. Well, not
Let's
quite
talk
yet,
about
but
LRP. Something I know that's a yes question.
okay.
Sorry to hit you with that one. I thought the answer was yes. All right.
Well, I got the multi-peril crop insurance deal, but we're not technically as an agency set up to offer that yet. But
All right, cool.
PRF is what we can offer. LRP is what we do offer today, and do a lot of that business. That business is growing for us. It's a great tool for the American farmer, American rancher, and great foundational risk product to go out there and get something on the books, and something you can, uh, manage afterwards. Don't just buy the LRP and forget about it, Tommy. We can, as if the market breaks after you buy that LRP, we can go protect that equity. And there's been opportunities here since the summer to go do that. Those who took advantage of it are glad they did that. And it really, that process kind of eliminates the timing aspect of, should I time this market? Should I wait for the high? Because we often know that waiting on another buck or $2 in this cattle market, it might cost you a $30 slide if you don't have that coverage on.
So
I have a plan I have a plan, concepts of a plan. This is a plan.
the concept of a plan.
I
That's
couldn't
funny as
resist.
hell. You do have a concept of a plan.
We've got a plan though to get that coverage in place and be able to roll it up and manage it higher. I don't have a plan if this thing sells off $40 to go back and get you higher prices in a market that's not there anymore.
Yeah. Did you know I grew up middle class just like you, Brady?
You did, Tommy? It's
Yeah, I
great to
did.
grow up middle class. So closing arguments here
All
on
right.
the show today, Tommy G.
Hold on.
Closing argument.
Yes, sir. We got what have you done wrong in your 10 years as a broker?
Oh,
Um, I wouldn't change anything. Listen, we got some great comments, questions from folks. Looks like I did send a text to clients, advanced trading clients yesterday, asking how they're doing on harvest. There's an incredible amount of people done, and then there's a group of people up north who have a lot of corn bushels who are just have to grind through it. So on average, I had an incredible amount of zeros dones complete, and then this group up north, a little bigger acreage, I did see a lot of 5 to 7s, a couple 10 days. This is corn that was planted later. This was corn that if you want I don't know what the October surprise is, but if you want a January surprise, and this is about the most serious thing I'll tell you today. If you want a January surprise, watch for North Dakota's corn average to go up. And if you want to get all upset and say the USDA is a conspiracy theory, I actually think national yield could be a little higher and bushels could go up just based on the corn in North Dakota. You couldn't ask for a better scenario of something planted that late and finishing so well. I've seen this several years ago where North Dakota's yield was higher and corn went down 15 cents on a report just based on that difference from where we were in the fall on the USDA report. So I mean that honestly. I know sometimes we joke and we're all under a lot of pressure uh, about the election and nervous about the future of everything, whether it be what we do for a living or what the state of America is, but or cattle or ranching or anything else. But the I am not a bull in the corn market that it's all gone and the USDA's lying. There is plenty of corn out there. One more thing to follow up on I have a ton of clients in North Dakota who aren't done harvesting, and almost every single elevator system just for yesterday was about plugged. That doesn't mean a train won't come in and they won't get it moved, but I have clients who are like, we have nowhere to put this corn. There's just so much everywhere. So the system's plugged. People have delivered what they were supposed to have delivered or forward sold. And the problem is, we got that email today from Advanced Trading. People who have November futures, November options expired, November futures have to be priced. And so that phone, if you said, why are beans down a quarter right now? I would say it's because of those phone calls ringing with, hey, you brought in 10,000 bushels. What do you want to do? You want to start paying for storage or do you want to price it? And those are decisions. Those are big boy and girl decisions that farmers and ranchers need to make. We got a great list of comments and it looks like farmers are finishing. Let's get to those comments, Brady, and then I'll let you do closing thoughts. Read them off.
Grow the Farm Up finally wrapped up harvest last weekend just in time for deer season. It is approaching deer season. Farmer Brett here got here late. Did you talk about the run DJT has been on up 250% in the last month? The last month we didn't talk about what it's up in the last month, Farmer Brett, but we did, Tommy talked about that Trump stock here earlier. HPAI making its way, high path avian influenza making its way into some West Coast poultry flocks. 3.6 million birds in the last 30 days after a summer lull. Luke is the boots on the ground there with the avian influenza insights. Appreciate that comment, Luke. Something worth watching. These things pop up and they're kind of seasonal, it seems like, in the fall and the spring as birds get in those migratory type patterns. We see these increases and upticks there. So it's something worth paying attention to on the protein sector. Buckeye Farm Boy finished beans on October 12th and should finish corn this week. It's dry here. Buckeye Farm Boy, I was hoping you got some rain and we looked at that drought monitor and saw a little bit of green there in southern Ohio and thought maybe that change happened, but I guess it's unfortunate to hear that it's still dry out your way. Russ Ranch, for hypothetically, if I go take out a 243.50 LRP for Jan feeders, can I hedge the same day to the current price level? It's a good question.
You want to get back to him on that one?
Yeah, we can certainly. I'll shoot you a text, Nathan.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Good job. Hey, on a serious note, now this guy, you think we're wacky some days and didn't take our medicine? You know who's out of jail and live streaming right now? Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon got out of jail last night and he's streaming right now.
He went streaming on the airwaves.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't think he has a compliance officer. So, boy did his time, and now he's spinning records over.
They just let anybody stream these days, Tommy G. I guess, don't they?
All right. On the crazy side, I got to tell you something. On the crazy side, I never liked the idea that Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post. But then when the Washington Post didn't pick a candidate, I found that was odd. And then Jeff Bezos left a statement last night. They've had like 300,000 subscribers quit because they didn't back. I think what happened Friday afternoon, depending on where your intelligence level is just understanding things, is when history says that every major influential media tends to pick a certain candidate or a certain team. And then this year they didn't. it's pretty wild, the uproar of like, what do you mean you didn't support? So I thought news and media was supposed to be unbiased on this, just tell us the facts, like
Yeah, old school
uh,
reporting.
Superman. And remember, you know, the reporters at the in the movie, Clark Kent and was it Lois Lane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like that. And of course, everyone went left or right really far. Something's happening with the Washington Post, USA Today last night. This is odd. I don't want to say they're if I didn't know better, I would say that he is hedging his bets. And so the one of the wealthiest people in the world realize if you're going to operate an online commerce thing, maybe it's better to go a little neutral. And
Mhm.
so I think these wealthy people who very much can influence the media through whether it be Elon Musk or anyone else are actually starting to go neutral because they're scared of these results. But with that, I still think these polls are a little skewed. I think they're we'll see. I am
Yeah.
super excited about next week and super nervous for America. And one way or the other, hopefully they still let us trade corn next Wednesday, right?
Right. Yeah. There's some interesting things on the ballot box too, not to drag on even more and
Like
more,
the
but
ones on fire, or
that's yeah, we don't want the drop boxes catching on fire. I don't know. That's
hey, we got a
interesting.
cattle question here, and you are the cattle king. Pop
Yeah.
it up,
I want to
Jojo.
hit this the interesting thing real quick.
Don't
I
hit
was
it too
reading
hard. Don't break the bell box.
I was reading an article about something I was completely unaware of, but a ban in Denver for slaughterhouses that's on the docket and trying to get on the docket for the election, where they can actually ban slaughterhouses in Denver area, which is going to impact um, like 20% of a sheep slaughterhouse facility in Denver that's very important to the sheep industry. It's like 20% of the capacity for slaughtering sheep in Denver. But check of a box and you can kick a business out of town and they got to go do something somewhere else, and it impacts thousands of ranchers out there. But interesting thing um, out there across the country. Let's go to that cattle question though. Cody Williams, what does fall feeder cattle market look like for the fall? Good question, Cody. Feeder cattle index is really, really hot right now. It's good to see. You got funds long this market. Proceed with caution. I think the winter wheat situation is something to pay attention to. If guys have wheat there, that's going to maybe incentivize them to hold on, put a little more pounds on those cattle and hold them back from coming to town. So that could provide some underlying support here, but you got to watch the box beef market, the consumer. There's so many things going on. I'd rather have downside coverage now with a plan to improve that coverage and raise it with a market that's going up versus wish I would have done something in hindsight, looking back at a market and all the could have beens. So
Well said, Brady Huck, Dodge City, Kansas, Tiber Safi, Valparaiso, Indiana, heading over to Rumble to watch the craziness that is Steve Bannon. Will we have an October surprise? Drop a comment down below. What will the October surprise be, per the election or per the markets? I will see you in a couple days, buddy.
see you, Tommy.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.